Alright, this is Jimmy. This is Mark. Just a quick update on all my FPV adventures and misadventures. I went out and tried my setup again, my 1000 milliwatt AKK transmitter. I tried everything, still not getting good results at all. Now I watched a video from Painless 360 on YouTube. Painless 360 on YouTube. He did a really great video talking about antenna types. So the stock, what I call a stick antenna, which is actually called a whip antenna or a dipolar, D as in David, I-P-O-L-A-R, I believe. Anyway, he said that if you use a stick antenna, as I'm gonna let's see, what do you call it? Whip. If you use a whip antenna on the plane, when you bank turn, you're gonna get video noise from banking the plane, because the whip antenna is very it's got to be facing the ground station. So if you bank too far and you put the plane between the antennas on the ground and the antenna on the plane, that you get video breakup. Okay, so he said, however, what you want to do, or what you can do to solve that problem, or at least to make it better, is to put a polarized antenna on the airplane only. I said, okay, well, I didn't know that. And I had the polarized antennas. I tried both of them on the ground station and the whip antenna on the plane. That was terrible. So I said, okay, well, let's try that. So I put the polarized antenna on the plane, used my two whip antennas on the ground station. Still no good. Then I tried leaving the polarized antenna on the plane and taking off one of the whip antennas from the ground station and putting on the other polarized antenna. So I have one whip antenna on the ground station, one polarized antenna on the ground station, one on the airplane. No good. This is getting to be hilarious, almost. What else? Okay, so that was no good. Yeah, so I tried every possible configuration that I could get with 3 whip antennas and 2 polarized antennas. Putting them on the plane, the ground station, various configurations and combinations, nothing's working worth spit. So my final last resort idea, that was the last thing I could come up with, it was the last thing I could come up with, was, all right, let's try a different channel on the transmitter. All right, I mean, what else, I got nothing left. No more ideas. So I went and pushed the buttons, little tiny buttons on the transmitter, and I was watching the screen at the same time, and I had the plane a little bit of a distance away from the ground station. So pushing the little button on the transmitter, and I believe changing the channel on the airplane transmitter, well, I found what looked like a strong signal. And when I looked on the monitor, it gives you, a signal strength indicator with up to 5 bars. 5 is the strongest signal, of course, and 1 is the weakest. Well, it's getting 4 to 5 bars with that, having switched the channel, I believe, on the airplane FPV system transmitter, right? And then I did the scan on the ground with the ground station, and it will look for and tell you what channels are available, and it's up to you to pick the one that looks the best. So I did that after changing the channel, I believe, on the transmitter on the airplane, and back to the standard antennas again, all whip antennas all the way around, because that's the best results I've gotten so far, is the whip antennas on the plane and on the ground. Okay, so I did that, and then I put the plane balanced on its prop spinner and the tires. So it's sticking up at about a 45 degree, no more than that. It's sticking up at about a 90 degree angle. My point being, it wasn't flat on the ground with the antenna really close to the ground, the plane's antenna. I had the plane sticking up in the air quite high with that antenna on the bottom of the tail of the fuselage just completely exposed to the receivers on the ground station. Nothing was going to block it, including the plane, all right? And then I started walking away, as I've done before, trying to do a range test. So walking away with the airplane, away from the, anyway, back up just a second. So I went ahead and did the search, and it gave me B1 as the best channel, as far as I could determine, that I was getting. The best clarity that I was getting at about 10 feet away was B1. I said, okay, well, let's do the range check. So I went ahead and hit record on the DVR on the ground station, and then held the plane up, about like flying, altitude. No, I can't held it up at flying altitude, but I held it up as far as I could above the ground is what I did to just, get the best possible signal, the best that I could. I started walking away, and I was able to walk away farther than I've ever been able to walk away without getting signal breakup or signal breakup that was a problem. You're going to get some, always, but so far, ever since I got off the 600 milliwatt transmitter that I started with and went to the 1000 milliwatt, I've been getting nothing but trouble. The 600 milliwatt was great. I just wanted more power. So anyway, I did that range check and I walked away farther than ever before, using the, I believe, different channel on the transmitter and using channel B as in boy 1 on the ground station. Okay, so I walked away quite a ways. So I'm going to say about 100 yards, maybe. In feet, it would probably be about 175 feet, 200 feet, something like that away from the plane and the transmitter. And I was recording what I was getting, and I came back to the plane and then I watched the recording I made on the plane. Excuse me, I watched the recording that I made on the ground station as I was walking away from the ground station with the airplane. And I got farther away than ever before from watching the recording with the best signal than ever before. Yeah, so the way I've got it configured now, back to the whip antennas. I switched something on the transmitter, which seems to have helped. I think it's a channel on the transmitter. So after I've done those things, I'm getting better results as far as a range test than ever before. Now, range test doesn't mean squat, because so far, as soon as I take off, I lose my signal. But this range test could be indicative of maybe I've got this right now. I don't know. I hope so. I'm starting to run out of patience. I'm starting to run out of patience. Not losing my sense of humor, but my patience is, it's getting a little bit thin. All right, so that's the next thing. I'm sitting in the car right now at the park, where I'm gonna go fly again and see what happens with the setup that I got now. And I'll post a video one way or the other. And if I'm still not getting as good of a signal as my 600 watt with my 1000 watt transmitter, then I'll just have to take a break for a while and just take a break, rest my mind. All right, thanks for watching, folks. Thanks for all your support, all your moral support, all your, suggestions, comments. Really helpful. Really, really helpful. And also the camaraderie, as I've mentioned before, and I'll keep mentioning it. It's really great. It's really great. It's great. We're all over the world, all over the U.S., but no matter where we are all RC pilots, and we are all comrades in the air and on the ground. All right. Next video coming up. I hope it's the last one. I hope it's a success video. See ya. And Jimmy says, see ya. He's sleeping.